Hello.
Oh, hi, Rylan.
Hi. How's it going?
Okay. I didn't think you were going to be on tonight.
I'm not. I'm just saying hi.
Oh.
Hi. Okay, bye. Bye.
Bye.
There we go. Connected up. How's your week going?
Kind of strangely.
Yeah, mine wasn't as dramatic as dealing with sexual misconduct.
Oh.
But it was last week.
Yeah, I'll have to say my sexual misconduct was not anywhere on my radar.
Yep. As did come up to me saying that professor was talking to them inappropriately. In text message.
Not cool.
It was one of those like, oh yeah, there's not a like you can deny it type thing. It's like it's there in text. Yeah, that was last week. This week I got to cover for someone that was yeah, you went to college, so we're past the halfway point in college, like in terms of semester.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to cover a 15-chapter book. She's on chapter 4 and chapter 5. I'm on chapter 10, about to start 11.
Slight failure there.
Yeah, I'm going like, how she got to make it to Civil War or even Reconstruction? So that was my week trying to cover some distance for her students and her. So what was your strange week?
Well, let's see. I have my boss who gave me a code to attend a Citrix admin class. It's a 5-day class, but it's basically a remote instructor.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a coworker who is arguing with my boss because my boss is having other people basically shoulder surf. They're not doing any of the homework or labs or anything like that. They're just kind of watching.
Right.
My coworker is picking a fight going, well, this is all copyrighted material. What's Citrix got to say about this? And my boss is like, what? Basically he's going, look, we can either do it this way, or I can have Tony next week throw you all in a class and regurgitate all this stuff. And,
yeah.
And I see both sides of the argument.
Yeah, I do too. But honestly, there's a time and place.
Well, and you pick your battles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one thing to point it out and go, hey, this kind of isn't the most ethical thing you can do. It's another to keep bringing it up every time you see him.
Yeah, because I like once you made your notice known that like, hey, this is not exactly ethical. That's it. That's all you have to say. You don't have to keep beating the dead horse.
Well, and this is only the second class I've had in 30 years.
Yeah, yeah. When did you graduate?
1986.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I was born in '85, man.
But I kind of look at it like this. It's one of those of, when my coworker brought it up, because I had placed Citrix's manuals for the class on a shared open drive.
Right.
When he brought it up, I removed them. I'm like, yeah, you got a point. I'll pull them out of there. But it's like, team. We had a team meeting, and then we had what we call our leadership cascade, which is basically sales pitches by our execs on why we're such a great company.
Right.
And if both of those, he brought it up, and then apparently brought it up again as they were passing each other in the hallway. And my boss comes to me and goes, "Look, you can either show up or not.
You do it this way or that way."
Yeah. In the meantime, I have an interview Tuesday. So I'm stuck with the dilemma of, okay, if my boss decides, yes, this is an ethical problem, and I'm the only one designated to go to this class, and this class is $5,000.
Right.
Do I tell my boss?
No. You go to that other person and be like, "Look, I need you to chill out for at least a week."
Yeah, it's I don't feel so bad if other people are sitting in.
Right.
Because then it's like, well, you went to this class. It's like, yeah, but so did other people. So you're kind of okay. Where if I'm the only person attending and nobody else is going, it's going to be like, sorry guys, but you're pretty much fucked.
It's like, bye. Exit stage right.
I mean, the only, I guess, redeeming part out of this whole scenario is while the class technically cost $5,000, Union Pacific got 2 free class codes for their licensing contract. So it's not costing UP really anything out of pocket.
Technically, yes.
Right.
But also, like, why would you take advantage of the freeness, though?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not costing them anything, but I guess you could say it's kind of wasting, I guess.
Well, yeah, and those codes are getting ready to expire.
Yeah, definitely about the waste.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, it's like, okay, I only need like one more twist to turn this into, some kind of weird karma story. Huh.
Right. Oh man, that's you're like this. Like that is kind of weird. To go like, okay, if everything goes smoothly, I'm in the clear. But
Well, and let's say, I get through this interview and I don't get the job. Not a big deal.
right, get the interview, get the job.
Get the interview, get the job. I might piss off some people when I resign.
Like,
Particularly if I resign, like, the Monday after the class is finished. Going, thanks for the free training.
Ah!
Of course, I don't feel too bad. UP's gotten 20 years, so.
Yeah, you're like, this is a mulligan.
Yeah.
This is I was like, I've been here for a while. I survived the rounds of cuts. I want to go live near close to my family because that's the whole point of this job change, right? Or this moving.
So that's part of it. I mean, the job change is actually kind of a, my current job is dying because of 1,000 cuts type thing.
Right.
My workplace right now is kind of on the toxic side.
Morale's low.
Morale is extraordinarily low. There's still the potential that, down the road, for whatever reason, they go, yep, Tony, sorry, but you're gone.
Right.
There's all that. In addition to, put it bluntly, as a city, Omaha kind of sucks.
Is it a little small, a little lacking of culture?
It's the size of it's not really a biggish deal, but
that's why I say, like, does it not have like a lot to do with a lot of culture type thing? Is that
there's quite a bit there that's lacking. I mean, my wife coming from St. Louis is used to having a free zoo to visit, a free art museum to visit.
Bigger city stuff?
Yeah, stores that are generally open significantly longer than they are here. Then there's of course the fact that pretty much all of my wife's family is in St. Louis, except for our daughter who's in Florida with our grandkids.
That still puts you. I mean, if you head out that way, it still puts you closer.
Well, exactly. Not only that, but her husband works for Spirit Airlines. Well, Spirit flies into Kansas City. They do not fly into Omaha.
Right. Yeah, so you can get those. You still do the free flights, don't they, for like family members and?
I think so. So.
Yeah, or at least severe discounts.
Right. Add to that, Kansas City has at least two major sports teams, professional sports teams. And while most city governments have some level of corruption in them, Omaha is just ridiculous.
It's a little open, like it's Omaha. How big is the city of Omaha? I'm assuming it's like size of it versus corruption level.
It's about 300,000 people.
And it should not have that much corruption for having 300,000.
Well, let's put it this way. In the 15 years that we've lived here, there's been at least, I want to say, 2 police chiefs and 2 fire chiefs. The police union and the firefighters union, and police chief and firefighters union of 3 small communities that Omaha decided to annex have all been doing battle with the mayor.
Okay.
Because basically what the mayor did was, so they would annex a town that had an established police force. They would fire that police force and basically say, yep, all the pension funds are ours.
That's a little bit sketchy.
That's a lot sketchy.
Like, that's going like, where did our pension go?
And then
why is our pension gone?
Yeah, and then the communities are sitting there because the communities are kind of outliers in the county. They're like, it takes 30 minutes for a cop to show up when you dial 911.
That might be because there's no cops nearby.
Exactly.
Look, that's 30 minutes away, and and there's a decent chance that they're flooring it to get there too.
Yeah.
So
add to that the fact that roads in these municipalities, some of them were basically like just basic blacktop streets. And the city of Omaha decides to, instead of doing maintenance on the blacktop, they come in and destroy the blacktop and turn it into a gravel road.
And everything's fixed.
Well, a gravel road is much harder on a car than
gravel road can technically destroy certain types of cars.
Yeah. Add to that, we just had torrential flooding.
Yep.
And now some communities you can't even get to.
And that flooding's having quite the effect.
Yeah.
On
And the existing mayor literally ran on a platform of abolishing what they call the restaurant tax. 8 years ago, the previous mayor passed the restaurant tax, which was like an additional 3% on the sales tax charged by restaurants within the Omaha metro area. Everybody was against it, but the city board and the mayor went ahead and passed it. The new mayor ran on the platform of abolishing that tax. But once she got into office, she's like, well, this is too much money to do away with.
I was like, yes, that's quite a bit of money.
So, it's that kind of stuff where, you look at Kansas City or St. Louis. Yeah, there's corruption. There's corruption. But it's not so much in your face like it is here.
Right. Well, because it's technically so small of a city that if you have a mass, like to be honest, a massive amount of corruption shows a lot more, and it's more in your face versus say like Chicago, where you can kind of hide it with the size of it.
Well, and part of the other aspect is like, the corruption that shows up in the city is, the mayor of the city's brother owns an impound yard. And all of a sudden, he's getting all the city impound contracts. That's the corruption you see in St. Louis. Or the cops are arresting people, claiming that there's drugs, and they're seizing their cars. All of a sudden, the police chief's daughter's caught driving one of these cars.
Like,
Yeah,
you're like, that I can deal with that.
Or some street construction project goes to a relative. Those are, usually the kind of stuff that you see in corruption in cities like St. Louis and Kansas City. And even Chicago. Chicago probably, well, we know it goes further since
everything's coming out.
Well, the governor of Chicago tried to sell Obama's state Senate seat.
And then there's some sketchy police issues, and then there's some sketchy judicial issues.
Well, you have the former first lady basically interfering with the prosecution of an actor.
It's like she must really like that.
Oh, well, she actually danced with him a couple of times at social events in the White House. So, yes, Mr. Smollett, I think is how you pronounce his name.
Smollett thing, which is like, it's like I guess they just have, he likes her Empire show, he must have her friends stay in there. But yeah.
Well, and they're family friends.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think what the unfortunate part is that interference could have happened, nobody would have known. But except for how the prosecutor handled it.
It's this type of situation is pretty normal. Like, it's not uncommon. You're right, it's not uncommon. It's rare.
What they could have done, however, it is actually, instead of basically saying we're dropping all charges, what they could have done is said we're doing a plea deal.
Walked away.
Yeah, and the details of the plea deal are sealed. But we're done. People would have reacted differently because then it doesn't sound like he's getting away with anything.
It sounds like, okay, they did a plea deal, save money, blah, 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 move on.
Exactly. and could have put everything. In fact, they could have even just made it where it was either a misdemeanor or what they call a civic citation.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to pay X amount of dollars in fines. You're going to do X amount of hours in community service. Oh, you're an actor. Guess what? You're going to do some TV spots.
Yeah, do some commercials and
civic. You're going to do some civic duty stuff. And they could have even just let it off at you're going to do some public service commercials, which, let's face it, those actors cost money.
Mm-hmm. They're doing it for free. Yeah, there was a whole bunch of issues with there. Like on his side, he should have just shut the hell up.
Well, yeah. You figure you look at like a Robert Downey Jr. who has committed lots of crimes in when he was younger, but he went to court, he went to jail, he did his time, he did his community service, and he did his public speaking stuff.
He cleaned himself up. So.
Yep. And when it was all said and done, he still came back and still had a career.
And this one,
nobody's going to trust. Yeah, nobody's going to trust this guy now.
It's just like, because they were right. He could have started a type of race war in the middle of Chicago.
Yeah.
Which, not.
Well, and then sitting there trying to go, well, Donald Trump's responsible for. It's like, I'm sorry, but I gotta say, Obama did a lot of damage to race relations in this country.
But now now we're left with two polarizing sides that basically don't talk to each other.
Oh yeah.
And that's what we got left. And now you're like, hey, I want to go to St. Louis or Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City cuts off 4.5 hours drive time to St. Louis. 4.5 hours driving to my mom's.
Yeah.
So.
Oh. Yeah, see, I live in Houston. I live by Houston, not in Houston. I live by Houston. So
yeah.
That's what I'm kind of, that's kind of what I have.
Yeah, and the other aspect is when we moved here, we bought kind of a big house. It's about 3,000 square feet. And we did that for a couple of reasons. One was an expectation of both of our families coming to visit, and potentially my parents or her mom or somebody maybe needing to live with us type situation. Right. And nobody's come to visit. Her son comes to visit about once a year.
Okay.
My dad actually has probably been here the most of anybody, and he died 5 years ago.
Right. So the foot traffic has gone down
to zero. Yeah.
So it's like, what's the point? They have this much house.
Yeah, my grandsons, are 6 and 8. They've never been here, which annoys the hell out of me.
You're like, come visit Grandpa sometime, please.
Yeah.
Now, like your parents.
Yeah, there's a long sordid story there. That's just, it's just ugly.
Oh yeah. Like if there's a story there, that's never going to be a happy story.
No, and it's
Ugh.
anyway.
Anyway, on that bad note, let's play some games.
Yeah.
Maybe Hans will join up in like an hour, but we'll find out.
Yeah. In the meantime, we're gonna throw Swift Fang into a blender and see what pops out.
Yeah, it's like what type of system things gotta come out? Because I mean, like I said, I got the wish ready. It's technically a dual wish for it, but I figured I was like, if I'm gonna be portal teleported somewhere, well, that would be the time to do it. Or is the wish guy cost to teleport? You tell me. I'm ready to let the ghost flow.
So let's talk about when you want to trigger the wish.
Well, like basically, my character have been thinking about it since he did the first wish. So I figured that this type of thing would take 2 wishes. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, one to say what I want and one to stabilize it, like to put my will onto the wish type thing.
Permanency.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like I want permanent. Like it's kind of like I guess kind of like this. Like I wish to be the most powerful solar. Most powerful solar. With angelic powerful enough to rival or challenge any god without any repercussions. And I wish to put my will onto that first wish, if that makes any sense.
Sure. Send me the text.
I mean, let's do the text. Let's do it on Skype. Yeah, let's do it on Skype.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, let's see. All right, I'm gonna put first wish, second wish, so you know what happens.
Sure.
Yeah, first wish. While I do this. Fine. I'm about to become some sort of rogue solar, maybe, or I'm about to be making a new character. Either way, fun. Don't you dare shut down on me. Enter, second wish. Basically, I'm trying to get this to where it's like an angel class, which just sounds kind of cool. But in any case, So got that. Glad I double checked my editing. I feel like I misspelled if you have any of those type of words where you're like, did I
No,
spell that right?
yeah, actually, as I get older, I seem to misspell, usually by transposing letters.
I feel like I just like.
I also hate all the autocorrect shit, just because there are words that I know I have spelled correctly, but autocorrect like totally discombobulates the word.
Yeah, because like I typed in, I'm like trying to type in permanent, and it's typing in permanent for some odd reason. I'm like,
You are not getting a new hairstyle.
I was just like, it's like I need the PERMANET. Or is that? Or is that? Wait, let me see. Or is that? No, I need the I. I need dictionary.com. But it's like I'm a professor. I still have words. I'm going like, is that how you spell that? It looks right. Is it?
Yeah. I remember doing the spelling bee when I was in 8th grade.
Having no issues.
I actually won our district.
Nice. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I'll type up the like I said, I got the wish pretty much typed out.
Okay.
There we go. All right. Yeah. So either this is goodbye to this character, and I'm rolling up a new character, or any case. Now, if this works, when this happens, I'm assuming this, like you said, this got to be like an evolution. This is like leveling up. So that's actually kind of what I want. That's my main concern when I was thinking about this. Like, I don't want to be immediately full powered solar that decimates anything that comes forward.
No, and you won't be.
It's like it'd be like, let's grow into that. But in any case,
Okay, let's see. I wish to have the most powerful solar powers.
I know I wish I edited better, but I was trying to get this as simple as possible.
That are powerful enough to rival any god without any repercussions. I wish for my will and interpretation of this to be granted and be permanent.
Ow, ow, ow. So my character explodes into 1,000 stars and it's never heard from again. And I didn't care about the whole like having to work for a god thing. To be perfectly honest, I figured that would just come with the territory. Wah, 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 wah,
High or low?
wah. Wait, are we rolling D100 or D20?
D100.
Low. I am dead.
Oh, you're lucky. Let's see.
It's like you're lucky. I am lucky. I wasn't even looking at the goddamn thing. I'm like, I'm too scared to look. So, you excited about Endgame?
About what?
About Avengers Endgame, or have you not been doing the Marvel movies?
No, we've been doing them. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. I'm not crazy about the blending of all the various worlds. Like Guardians of the Galaxy getting blended in with Iron Man and the rest of it.
But I feel like it's a but or however in this.
It's not anything like that. It's just one of those of I typically try to take each thing on the surface as kind of its own thing. I did that with Star Wars,
Which one?
Well, to me, it made them. It makes movies generally more enjoyable for me.
Right.
Because it is way too easy for me to sit there and analytically dissect a movie.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about because I find myself doing that all the time. When
I have made myself stop doing that because I don't enjoy movies when I do that.
Yeah, was it? God, I forgot. I don't because I can't do that yet. I don't watch like any M. Night Shyamalan movies type thing. Like they're supposed to have some sort of twist or things like that, like Shutter Island or any The Village or things like that. Because I'll figure them out way too quickly, and then the movie's done.
Yeah.
Like with Shutter Island, you remember that Leonardo DiCaprio movie Shutter Island?
Yes.
I figured it out from the commercials. Like I can't go see it. I already know what's happening. They're like, no, you don't. I'm like, okay, you go watch it. You come out and you come back. I'll tell you what the gist of it is. And I did, and they were like, you suck. I'm like, just scream that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. Go ahead.
I mean, I really liked Aquaman.
I liked Aquaman too. My wife also loved it.
Yeah, so did mine. But it was one of those movies I had really low expectations for. But Doctor Strange, I really enjoyed Doctor Strange.
Same. And same with her.
But it's one of those of I like the very first Iron Man.
Right.
I was not real happy with the second
one. No one was really happy with the second one.
But it's also like with the Star Wars movies. I actually enjoyed the prequels.
There's bits and pieces that I enjoy about the prequels. I want to destroy Jar Jar. Like that's one of those things I can't deal with that character.
See, Jar Jar doesn't bother me so much, and maybe it's in part because I'm older. But I always looked at it as Jar Jar and the creature that owned Anakin.
See, him I like.
Well, for me, I mean, there was a lot of criticism, because people were trying to say, well, these are obvious stereotype things, and they made Jar Jar a Caribbean-ish, Jamaican-ish, and it's like, this is freaking make believe. I mean,
you gotta stop putting your own world perceptions on something that's trying to do something different.
Well, and let's face it, George Lucas made movies at a time where people generally didn't invent languages. Gene Roddenberry was like one of the few people, and he didn't even really do it.
Mm-hmm.
His fan base did it. They created the Klingon language.
Which still makes me laugh.
So, it's like people just need to kind of chill out.
Yeah. I mean, the best case in point with that was the Captain Marvel movie. I don't know if you saw that one.
Have not seen it yet.
Don't listen to any side. Do what he did and go in. There's got to be some plot holes that if you've been keeping up with the Marvel movies might bug you. Just going for like canon's sake.
Sure.
But like I don't know if you heard like some people were hating because it's all about girl power or it is about girl power. There was like a big pushback against all that stuff or you know what I'm talking about.
I remember when they were pushing back on Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Wonder
Woman's better. The first 2/3 of Wonder Woman to me are better than the first 2/3 of Captain Marvel. But Captain Marvel's finish is better than Wonder Woman's finish, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I can see that. I mean, the end of Wonder Woman was kind of a meh.
It was a cop out. It was a freaking cop out.
Yeah.
It was like she never had to face that she might be wrong with her beliefs type thing.
But the whole thing of when they were talking about the slam against Americans and what they did, it's like yeah, they mentioned it, and so what? Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, Native Americans are going to care because it was their people that got destroyed.
Yeah, And the same thing was with Black Panther when they were calling like white people colonists. I'm like, and they would call them colonists. You have to take it from say a make believe country's point of view that managed to maintain their independence, and watch Africa get taken over by white colonists.
Well, and here's a simple fact. Europeans did not need rifles to defeat the Native Americans because probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 to 10 million Native Americans were eliminated after the conquistadors first showed up.
Yep, by breathing on them.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
They were doomed based on first contact.
Yeah, it's like as soon as they went high.
Yeah.
Or it was
spit in their hand, shake my hand, please.
Yeah, it's like it was game, set, match.
Yeah.
For the Native Americans. And a lot of people are like, why not teach that portion of class? A lot of people are like, why didn't the reverse happen to Europeans? I'm like, well, there's this big barrier called the Atlantic Ocean. And whatever shit was running through the system, except for I always forget which STD they got from the Native Americans that ransacked Europe. That was hilarious. But yeah, explain to them that the trip was like a month long, and if you got any disease and you managed to survive that trip with that said disease, it was pretty much got run its course.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
I mean, a library.
So you're gonna roll a d20.
Okay, yeah, roll a d20. Roll d20. Okay, or you can reject my d20 roll. There we go. I have no idea what's going on. I got an 8.
An 8 is good.
The 8, I'm managing to survive.
An 8 means you're not reporting to an evil god.
Beyond the middle number.
And actually, this probably works out really good because the deity you're going to be reporting to is Gillian.
Give me a second. I'm Googling.
Gilean.
EAN. 5E. Go. GAL, right?
Gil.
Lean. Oh no. Okay, I think I found it. Or not. Is that a dragon deity? Oh, it's a Dragonlance deity. Is that what? Am I correct on that?
Not exactly. Oops. There we go.
Killing God of Neutrality. Okay, yeah, this is the one I'm looking at.
I mean, some people view it that way. In Dragonlance, his name was Astinus.
Okay. Yeah, for some odd reason, Dragonlance was like the first thing that popped up. So he's a mediator between good and evil, siding against any god that, or any side that threatens the balance.
Right.
Gods, we try to look for him for help and advice. Gods of light often do the same and hope he will side with them. Gods of evil manipulate the situation, which to present Kelemvor with a case where he can only side with them. I have a book of souls. So, alright, so, cool. Seems cool. How powerful is he? I'm not, again, it seems like he's supposed to be incredibly powerful.
He is definitely one of the primary deities.
Yeah, I guess, like you're saying, like he's one of the first gods called out of the beyond. So, he's a high god. Okay, cool. So, this shall be interesting, being that I'm technically neutral good now, or at least the way I've been acting.
Yeah.
I was like, been helping people, sometimes following the law, sometimes not. So, I survived.
You survived.
I was like, it's either this or I'm about to be a barbarian.
And to provide some detail as to what happened, when you execute your two wishes,
right?
The first thing that happens is with a pop-line crack, you appear in the library pictured in Roll20.
Correct. I'm like, luckily I am an educated.
The second thing that happens is a chrysalis forms around you. And for a short period of time, your body feels slightly fluidic. You, of course, sprout wings. Let's see.
Yeah, I chose. I figured I had to raise my.
A big ape throws a barrel at you.
A big ape throws a barrel at me.
Da 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 da.
Oh. I was like, I can't get out of the crystal.
Donkey Kong, it is.
Yeah, I switched my charisma when I started making the second one because since a lot of angels' abilities are based off charisma, I figured that might be wise.
Okay. Other changes, your eyes go completely white.
Yeah, let's see. I have wings. I
Yep.
Let me get.
As you emerge from your chrysalis, by the way,
Yes.
Gillian is actually there. Thanks you for your now patronage.
Thank you for your application.
And as your first duty, you will have to dispose of the body of the gentleman you replaced.
Okay, so I have to go fight someone, or is this there's
No,
literally a body?
There's literally a body. The body appears to have its head smashed in. It has sort of a burnt-looking, crushed chest cavity. And the marks are somewhat familiar as having been inflicted by Orcus's hammer.
I'm like, that's not good. Was Orcus here? As I look left and right, because he's one of two gods, honey.
No, but this gentleman here had served me quite well, and we were trying to keep tabs on you, and because you and your friends seem quite capable and also seem to be somewhat magnets for trouble.
I kind of do like a little P sign, like just a little bit.
Yes. And Orcus was tracking you, and this person here basically bought you guys some escape time.
Oh, I was hoping to get the power to kill Orcus without being a god myself. As I touch the wings, going,
Well, you might have that opportunity one day. Of course, that day will not be today. Anyway, there's lots for you to learn, and I need to get back to work.
Your name?
My name is Gillian.
And I gotta see how much my character knows about killing. Now that I have fair knowledge of this, so I guess I need to use some new stats.
Yeah, so you will be adding 1 to all of your stats.
Oh, that's a right now.
You add 1 to all of your stats.
Okay, so I'll do that right now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I gotta modify some things. And if they hit 20, does it just keep going up? I'm assuming.
Yeah, you're not bound by the limits.
I feel a little smarter. Or it's like I feel a little dumber, and then I feel a little smarter.
And then you're going to need to pick some stuff here.
Okay. I am ready to choose.
Okay, so the first part, you need to pick either Angelic Weapons, Divine Awareness, Innate Spellcasting, or Magic Resistance.
Okay, I still have my 2-weapon fighting, I'm assuming. Or do I lose that?
No, you haven't lost anything.
Okay. I just lost the hunter ability, so.
Yeah.
Okay, Angelic Weapons. awareness, and what was the other? Or
innate spellcasting.
Innate spellcasting.
And you will receive one of these every other level.
Right. Okay. Let me check those spells. Like, I have the spells already set up, so let me check those spells. They're easy enough to ignore.
Detect evil and good, invisibility, blade barrier, dispel evil, dispel good, resurrection, commune, and control weather.
What would you think would make the most sense at this point in time? Not to kind of give away my entire, self away.
Divine awareness or magic resistance would probably be one of the first two.
Right. And what's Angelic Weapons?
So, basically, that's the one where any of your weapons, even if it's an ordinary weapon, it becomes a magical weapon. And when you strike with any weapon, the attack deals an extra 68 damage.
Okay, I thought we were gonna level that up as we went along. I didn't think I was gonna get the immediate 68. So are we saying we gain the immediate 68?
I'm gonna say that, yeah.
Okay, so you can either get the immediate 68, which is gonna say, I have a lot of power now.
Actually, the way we can do that is you will secret roll that to me, that damage, and I'll just calculate it, and oh yeah, the stuff that you attack seems to die sooner than later.
Yeah, that would make some good sound advice.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, so the less noticeable ones obviously would be like Divine Awareness. That would be the least noticeable one, just for the sheer fact that
right, you can keep it to yourself.
Yeah, I can be like, that guy's lying.
Yep.
You're gonna be like, what? I'm gonna be like, he's lying. And that could be useful. I mean, it really can.
Yeah, it can.
It'll be like, so right now I'm stuck between. I'm not gonna do spells yet because that announces, unless I don't do a lot of the verbal and so like the very noticeable aspects of it.
Well, and it's innate, so it's not like you have to do spell components or verbal components. You just click your fingers and it happens.
Like, weather improved. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on spells for right now. So that one's gonna be held off, and I'm gonna hold off on magic resistance. Well, that's very useful. That would also kind of give my character away, constantly rolling with advantage on every magic, anything that results that is dealing with magic. So, and I get that every other level. You said?
Yes.
So, the question is, do I want to tell people are lying? I'm gonna say honestly, Angelic Weapons because he's more combat oriented.
That's fine.
Well, the next one on the thing will probably be Divine Awareness because that will help in terms of questioning people.
Okay. So, get Angelic Weapons. Then you're going to get an action. The actions are multi-attack, slaying longbow, flying sword, or healing touch.
Okay. Okay, so I don't get multi-attack immediately. So
no, you're going to...
Say that again?
You're going to get one of these. Multi-attack, slaying longbow, flying sword, or healing touch.
I'm gonna go with probably multi-attack.
Okay.
And that's just 2 attacks, right?
2 attacks with a greatsword.
Oh, so I'm gonna get weapon. Oh, okay. Wait, so okay, so that's okay. So so I get multi-attack already, but that version of multi-attack is I have a stronger weapon. What's going on?
you get a Greatsword.
Okay. Versus longbow sling. Yeah. Let's go with that because he wants to be a swordsman. So yeah, that makes the most sense.
Okay.
Then probably got to be followed by, honestly, maybe flying sword.
Okay.
But
and
so,
you get you're going to get one of these also every other level.
Okay. I got a new multi-attack. I need to enter that somewhere. I know where to input it. But anyway, okay, continue on. I have an idea.
And you get one legendary action. Legendary actions are Teleport, Searing Burst, or Blinding Gaze.
Less interested in Blinding Gaze. Searing Smite is interesting. Or Teleport. Which one would you suggest on that one?
If you want to keep it quiet, I would do the Teleport.
Alright, we're going to give me Teleport.
Just because Searing Burst, the moment you say it's a 23 dex save,
everyone goes, what?
Yeah. He gets that and sneak attack?
He gets multi-attack? Yes, I do. Let's see, 20 feet teleport, legendary action, and I get one per turn, I'm assuming.
Teleport, yeah.
Yeah, I get
it's a one standard teleport.
Yeah.
You get one. Anytime you can do an action, you can do a teleport.
Right, so it's literally, I can use the legendary action to teleport, basically.
Yes.
But I don't have 3 legendary actions, I have 1.
Correct.
Right, so even if I got the Sunburst, I wouldn't have been able to use it because that takes 2.
Right.
So, we'll just level that up just organically. We'll get the
that one's going to be every 3 levels.
Yeah, that one makes sense. I figured that was going to be a little bit more spaced out.
Okay. Condition immunities.
Okay, yeah, no, I can't be charmed, frightened, exhausted, poison. I'm immune to poison, period.
Right, and necrotic. And damage resistance.
Mm-hmm. From slashing, bludgeoning, piercing, and radiant.
Correct. And non-magical.
From non-magical, right?
Right.
Okay. Which most, a lot of people don't have magical. It's interesting, but
your base movement. Yeah, your base movement is 50.
Yeah, and goes up because of my race.
And you fly at 150.
Yeah, so my flight doesn't go up, but
and your natural armor class is 21.
Yep, and that's bumped up because of other items. So that makes sense. So yeah. So yeah, I remember we talked about that. Armor enchantments work, but armor itself doesn't work. But things like shields and bracers do increase my AC. Just out of curiosity, does a greatsword just kind of drop on my feet?
No.
All right. So I have to go find a greatsword.
Let's see.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it, and the reason I'm asking is because the Solar's greatsword does 4d6 damage.
Yeah.
Which is double what a normal greatsword normally does.
Right.
So that's why I was curious.
Now, the fun part's going to be explaining your pure white eyes now.
I believe angels can change how they look. If I remember that correctly.
Let's check that.
Yeah, I was like, that's gotta be in the normal lore. If I remember correctly, that's how Solars hide among people. Otherwise, they'd be like, "Are you an angel?"
Yeah.
Because I know like divas can hide themselves, and Solars should definitely be able to hide themselves, being a much different. See books. Because I know angels are immortal. They don't need to eat, drink, or sleep. That's gotta be hard to explain to people.
Let's see.
Come on, PDF.
Oh, I'm reading the physical book. Angel's
Yeah.
dedication.
Let's see. I can help you with this. So yeah, like they all have immortal nature. Technically, fallen angels do exist.
Slay evil creatures without remorse.
Pretty much what I'm doing anyway. Yeah, so it's gonna be. I think it's in the general angels. Like there's the subtypes and then there's just angels.
Here's something that's going to be interesting.
What?
You never acquiesce or give way.
Where did you get that one? For the solar portion or
The angels. As a shard of the divine. The
act out their will. Angel. But I guess that's my question. If my God is neutral, how's that typically work out?
You're still going to slay evil without remorse. You will also I'm going to say you will not acquiesce when it comes to tasks that you've been given.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's fine.
I mean, your God is neutral with good tendencies.
Yeah. Yeah, and when an angel is sent to aid mortals, it's sent not to serve but to command. The gods of good therefore send their angels amongst mortals only in response to the most dire of circumstances. But let's see, fallen angels. Let's see, immoral compass grants a sense of infallibility, but sometimes the spells are undoing. Angels are usually too wise to fall for a simple deception, but sometimes pride can lead to their commit an evil act. That's why we have evil angels. Whether intentional or accidental, puts a stain on as the angel as an outcast.
I gotta step away for a couple minutes.
I'm gonna do that too.
Okay.
About 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Are you back, Anthony? That's not the barrier. Fortress. It's not my fault. I've done all of that. Just can't make it climb.
I'll be right back. I still gotta get a drink.
All good. I'm munching.
All right.
Hey. So, yeah, I took a look. I don't know if you saw, but yeah, angels can change their shape. You know, you can turn into like like what a mortal would look like.
Okay.
Yeah, you can be hermit sometimes. Like the lowest level of diva can turn into pretty much anything. So I figure someone of a higher lot could a higher rank could as well. Because I was wondering, like, because they gotta be able to hide themselves. Otherwise, they would never be left alone if they're on the mortal plane.
I just have to kill somebody. I had to make their point.
Leave me alone! I did an evil thing. Anyway, so yeah, I can basically change back to my old look.
Okay.
It's just when I go angely, it's gotta be an issue. that won't happen for a while. So
Yeah, because you'll need to hide those wings too.
I got boots flying.
Yeah, but the physical wings.
And that's how they hide them. It's like I guess it's a shape shifting thing. They shape shift into it. And it's the only way it would make any sense.
Well, I mean, you could have the wings wrap around your torso, and then just put clothing over it.
or it could be I got wings on this mission. I mean, what do you think of that one? That was my reward for being here. I got wings. I got a lifetime supply of Red Bull.
Yeah, Vac's running a bell somewhere.
Or like I don't have blood anymore. I have Red Bull. Yeah, I can wrap them around torso and things like that. I may want to consider wearing the glamour armor. What do you think about that?
I make a lot of noise, but I look good.
Oh, the glamour armor is light armor, so
yeah,
I can turn to anything I want in terms of this look.
Well, yeah, because then you could go, hey, these wings are from the glamour armor.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the moment anybody does anything that would detect celestials of any kind.
Like flipping glows.
Yeah.
But I was going off demon aura earlier, so
Yeah.
it's one of those like, eh. And I'm assuming I still have the brooch from the Raven Queen.
Actually, you won't.
Okay, so I give that up.
Yeah, you just don't have it anymore.
I give that up. Let me delete that. I didn't know if these two were friends or not.
They would not be friends.
They would not be. But they're both neutral.
They are both neutral. However, the Raven Queen uses a lot of deception.
And he's a lot more honest.
Honest is probably not the correct word to use. Factual will be the correct word.
I tell it how it is.
These are the facts, whether you accept them or not.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's going on with that?
And you're allowed to continue with your group for the time being because Orcus is running around on the Prime Material plane.
And there's the issue of law.
Yeah, there's that too.
Like there's the issue of law.
Right now, everything has tipped towards the side of evil. We're going to try and nudge it back towards the neutral, but we might have to get a little more personally involved.
Like, this is your training period. We're gonna get you trained up nice and good.
Yeah.
Until you can go start killing some people.
Or until you die and we find somebody better.
I was like, hey, go get me a God's thing. I could see someone that is a Solar of this god being like, yeah, you have gods made to keep the other gods in check.
Yeah.
Because I got reading for a while. I got reading to do. I feel like this is this type of god. He's just like, I got shit to do. Here's God's bane. If any god gets out of line, just hit him with it.
And actually, Gillian does the writing.
They're like, I'll handle the paperwork.
Yeah.
You be the muscle. Alright, so we got anything else that we need to address?
Probably the only other thing that's lacking at the moment is your first mission.
I'm double checking my stuff.
Sure.
Like, I want to see if this is angels do illusions or they shape shift. That's what I'm trying to check. But keep on going.
So your first mission is to find out how and why the Drow have made a surface appearance in the Faerun.
Without being completely blind or just period.
Just period. The saving of the city is kind of an arbitrary thing. At least as far as Gillian's concerned. The secondary one is how did and where did the demons that had initially attacked the city go?
Did the spiders?
Yeah. Or are the spiders the demons?
Yep.
Or any number of other possibilities.
Well, technically that was my job before, so it's not a new job. All right. As I try flying into the ceiling like Iron Man did. Okay, no, got that. All right, easier to fly than I thought. So, I guess I'm being teleported somewhere.
Well, you would be being placed back.
Okay, it's okay. Just to let you know, I finally found what Solars do. It's not an illusion spell. It is a shapeshifting spell. So I think True Sight doesn't work on me for the mask's sake. In terms of just being able to see through an illusion.
No.
I just am. So anyway. Alright, point me to the direction, new boss.
And basically you will reappear kind of right in the middle of the battle. And we will pick it up there when we have the rest of the team.
Alright, okay, so the 19th we don't have a game, correct?
Is that Good Friday?
Yeah, I believe that is Good Friday.
That would be correct.
Alright, and we don't have a game the week after that as well, or is there another, or is there's some more spacing
in between? I think we have a game after that. It would be the end of May. The Memorial Day weekend. We won't have a game.
Okay. So, alright, so it's got to be one in April, one in May. Just so I know.
For the time being. Of course, if I get this new job, I'll be relocating, so there'll be at least one weekend in there that we probably won't play.
See, so I did not get. So I know, I did not get a new greatsword from this person, right?
That is correct.
All right, but I have when I use a greatsword, I do extra damage. Is what's gonna happen.
Correct.
All right. My question is there any point in me having dual fighting, or am I allowed to switch that as well since my entire character switched?
What do you mean switch?
Like how my body changed as well, or I could just, or do we just want to get rid of the dual fighting because that's from the hunter class?
I'm thinking we'll drop the dual fighting.
All right, cool. So I no longer dual fight, but that's fine. I'll start wielding like a great sword or something. Let me see. So I have extra ability. I have extra damage with a great sword.
Correct.
Or let's see. Wait, let me. I want to look at the solar again, just so I want to know if the gain a bow thing does anything as well. All right. Yeah. Let's see. Magical. It seems all the weapons that a solar does double the damage. Roll double the dice on it. Like that bow thing.
Yeah.
The Slayer bow does 2d8 instead of 1d8. So. Alrighty, so I need to get rid of that, which is cool. I don't mind using a greatsword. Modify, delete, gone, cool, done. Now I want to get this all sorted out, before.
Yeah. And like I said, you might want to do private rolls for your damage.
with certain things.
Yeah, just because the moment you do that, of course, Vax is going to go, what are you doing? Why are you rolling 2d8? Should only be 1.
Why are you rolling 4d6? I got a new weapon. You work here.
Yeah. How are you getting plus 15 on your attack?
Do we want when do we want to do anything else with the angelic weapons? Like, since they're technically deity weapons, do they need to get pluses with them, or is that gonna be a different thing?
That is a different thing.
Okay. I'm trying to look through this list of shit that we have to see if we have, what else we have.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to see if we have, since my damage is now switched over to strength instead of dexterity. My whip attacks do a lot of damage now. They're like, I hit it for 5 points of damage. Secret roll. You just hit. This is gonna be interesting. But I don't have sneak attack anymore. Oh my gosh.
Oh, and your familiar is gone.
It flew away. Yeah, I know. I didn't keep the fire lizard. I figured that would be gone.
Yeah.
There's a Vorpal longsword, but that's that's not gonna.
Yes. Turn the Vorpal into an angelic weapon.
It's a longsword. I can wield it two-handed or one-handed. whichever I choose. Do you remember if the Rod of Lordly Might was just a straight Rod of Lordly Might, or was it a +3? I can't remember.
Thought it was a +3.
Okay, so it's okay. I thought it was like someone put it in wrong, so it's +3 Rod. Giggity. Oh! I just realized something.
Yes.
Give me 1 second. I need to get out, the editing shit. The Rod of Lordly Might turns into a flame tongue. Okay, so as a +3 Rod of Lordly Might, I could use it as a battle axe, which will give me a +6 since the battle axe already has a +6. Or I could turn it into a flame tongue. Do you know? It's a flame tongue. Is just a straight. What sword is it? Or is it any sword?
That's a good question.
Because if it's just any sword, it's any sword.
Yeah, let me check.
It can be any sword. So I can use the Rod of Lordly Might to make a great sword.
Let's see.
Oh, it's supposed to be +3. So I've been underdoing my damage. I'm supposed to have a +6 flame tongue.
So it literally says it's just a fiery blade. It doesn't say.
Did you pull it up in the DMG or the thing?
I pulled it up in the compendium.
Yeah, let's see. Bonus action: this magical sword command words erupts into blade into flame. Okay, well, and while the sword is in place, it deals an extra 2d6 damage. So it could be any sword, technically.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna start wielding a +6 flame tongue. Good to know. All right, I gotta fix that a bit. So flame tongue, and since it's a great sword, that means I does that 4d6, right?
Yes.
Right. So what's our story when I start doing extra damage?
Well, that's why I said keep your damage rolls private.
So even the sword damage rolls?
Yeah.
Be a strength. Gotta be a strength. Alright, let's hide my rolls. The question is how long before they ask why I'm hiding my rolls?
It probably is going to depend on because basically, I can say roll your attack, make sure to whisper me those numbers. I'll ask you, are you done? Do anything else you're going to do? And then I just move on. Because unless somebody... It's not... One advantage of Roll20 is it's not uncommon for rolls not to show up for a while.
Right. Let's see. Or I can do roll the extra damage as well. Like with everything else.
Right.
So what I can do is go back to edit 6. And add Greatsword. And let's see. Nothing. Slashing. Alright, cool. So I would do this. So I figured, okay, I got this. So
Okay.
I do this. I just, like, that's actually kind of normal.
Sure.
I just rolled really well. And then I would do this, get that extra damage in, and that.
Yep.
I just rolled really well. Oh, I also see. Okay, I also see what I need. No. That I should not have that extra 5 in there. It's just supposed to be the straight. So it should have been like 34, but
Okay.
These are what these tests are for, aren't they?
Yep.
Strength done. Cool. And I need to fix the flame tongue. Okay, let's try this again.
And the good news is, Al no longer has that massive perception, so.
What, to be able to tell the difference in me?
To be able to notice automatically the significant difference in damage.
What happened to that perception?
He lost that when he basically lost Orcus's hammer.
Oh, did that hyper him up? I thought it was he had observant.
No. This was actually due to that item.
That's why he can just walk around and be like, "It's a trap." No. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Because it put his passive perception up into the upper 20s.
Well, I mean, I would still look like me because I can polymorph into me. But
right.
By the way, I can only polymorph into human form. There's nothing else I can polymorph like humanoid form. There's nothing else I can polymorph into. So
that's fine.
Let's go back to that. So I am a lichen angel, first of my kind.
Yep.
It's like, how many people are gonna be like, "What the are you?"
Well, not really, because the lichen part is literally cured.
Oh, cured out of this?
Yeah.
So I don't shift anymore. Or do I shift?
No, you don't shift anymore.
Let me delete that. Let me delete that. Because I still have shifting. Because I thought I kept my race abilities.
Oh, you can keep it as an ability, but technically you no longer have the disease.
Okay, what's the Control Z to backtrack?
Yes. Undo.
Come on. Nope, it didn't work. Okay, shifting. I have a new form of shifting, basically. I look a little buffer. That's what I do. I look a little buffer.
Yeah.
Outside my old. But, okay, so So my lichen is technically cured. What else we got? Our cat's got still keep on bugging me.
Probably.
You just like that aspect, don't you?
Yep.
You're like, yep. You gotta be covered in cats. Hey.
That's going to be real handy later on.
What, the cat thing?
Yeah.
I just imagine the Brendan Fraser mummy. Remember this cat?
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Got that. Got that. Yeah, at a certain point, they're gonna realize that I'm not going down as easily either.
Well, true.
Like what? It's like that used to down you, not anymore. My question is, and this is an interesting question I just realized.
Uh-huh.
How is the family going to react?
What, your family?
Yeah.
Unless you directly tell them, they're not going to know.
Well, they're kind of dicks about it. They're kind of dicks, so.
Yeah. The more interesting part is when undead start exploding around.
Wasn't me. Are they just kind of get near me and explode, or is it just?
It depends. You know, your basic skeletons, zombies, things like that. Yeah, they're going to explode.
Like, are we talking like we need to take cover explosion, or are we talking about like Thanos snap and they kind of go poof?
Yeah, they're all poofy.
Yeah. Like, why are no skeletons allowed within? Oh, that's gonna be interesting if I ever run into that concubine again.
Uh-huh.
It'd be like, hey.
Yeah, actually, the concubine's going to be more like groveling on her knees, going, "Master,
Please don't kill me."
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was trying to find a way to achieve like god level power without becoming a god, and then I read a solar thing. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the fun part is if you ever do a dungeon crawl again, and
And you can't just say and.
well, and you when you guys open a door, if there's a demon or a devil in there, and it shrieks and runs away.
When I go hi, and he runs away.
Oh, you won't even have to say hi. It's just, the moment you step into the room, it's like, it's trying to claw its way out of the room.
Power of Christ compels you. Power of Christ compels you.
Yeah.
I do have an interesting question.
Uh-huh.
I am neutral good, which is a cool thing. Works well with the neutral guy that kind of sometimes generally leans towards the good side. Where are you? Okay, yeah, that's something that tells me I'm pure good.
So
I'm not a paladin. I'm not a cleric. However, I am kind of holy.
yeah, I'm gonna say you probably want to drop that into the party bag and just go, yeah, I don't really need this anymore.
Because I was wondering if I got the +2 to spell, like bonus spells or whatever. that is.
No.
Okay.
Because the magic you have now is natural.
It's in-house. It's not
right.
outsourced.
Exactly. You do not have to call on a deity anymore to do magic.
I kind of am one. I just don't need worshippers to power my soul.
Right.
Yeah, so would it even work anymore for me, or is it just, or I could just use those charges, to try to immediately kill something?
I mean, you could use the charges, but that's kind of it.
And it's a pretty good charge. I mean, if you fail the stick saving throw, you're just dead.
Yeah.
It has 6 more charges, so. Alright, I'm trying to see what else. Like, most of my other things are interesting. I saw that Sphere of Annihilation. That's interesting. How long do you think David's going to keep bugging me for that Racers of Haste?
I don't know.
Till the end of time. I need to get him like a belt of haste or something. Here, take the belt. Alright, so I'm no longer wearing the armor of Fenris.
I mean, you can wear it, it just won't do you any good.
Like, the enchantments work. No, I mean, I can't wear it because I'm no longer a Lycan. That's it. Like, that's the thing about it. It's one of those, like, I gotta be Lycan, and it doesn't work anymore for me, so, I mean, and I can change my appearance at will, so I can just say I'm wearing glamour armor. What else? Like, what else do we need? I need to clear up out of here. Cool. Let's see. So it's every 2 levels for. I'm writing this down. So.
Sure.
Right. Angel. Every 3 levels for a legendary.
Correct.
I don't get legendary resistance, right?
Hang
it's
on.
not part of Solar. I don't know if that's got to become a thing, but I'm removing it right now. So it's legendary every 3 levels.
Right.
Stats go
every
level.
Correct.
New action every other level, right?
Correct.
Level. And what was the other one that was every other level?
Every other level is the Angelic Weapons, Divine Awareness, innate spellcasting, or Magic Resistance. I don't know what they call those. I would, I guess, call them the equivalent of feats.
Angelic feats.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you said I get the resistance and all that. What I don't get is the active abilities.
Right.
I get all the passive abilities, not the teleportation and all that stuff. So, yeah. I need to go look for Cosmic.
Oh, don't forget to adjust your hit points.
I did that already.
Okay.
I have 68 hit points, or am I bumping my hit points more than that?
You changed your hit die to a D10, right?
Yes, that's why I'm at 68.
Okay.
And everything is up. Okay, let's see. Got that. Yeah, my things are going to become noticeable real quick when hard.
Well, the other thing is every time you level up, because your con's going to be going up.
That durability's going to be shooting up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm at 17 con, so I'm guessing, because you said we're leveling soon, so that con's about to go up again.
Right.
So it's going to, my con's going to go up pretty nasty. Plus side is, I still have lucky.
Yeah.
Can I trade my lucky for legendary resistance? No. Can an angel be resurrected?
Yes.
Interesting. Good to know.
Of course, he can also be banished.
We're going to banish you. I kind of come from here. Okay.
Yeah.
That's always my favorite thing when they try to banish you. When you banish something, you think it's some sort of being from another plane or realm, and it comes right back. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Let's see. What else? What other reactions should I be worried about? Apparently, demon princes are scared of angels.
Yes.
Or solars.
That would include Orcus. Except Orcus is somewhat of the exception.
Yeah, I actually thought, you can tell me if this is true or not. I was watching a video on demons. A demigorgon is supposed to be stronger than Orcus?
Technically, no.
But there's another technicality.
So, strictly speaking, Orcus is not. Oh, well, I guess they are putting him in the same category. So, I guess Demigorgon and Orcus are generally considered the unkillables of the demons.
So we're talking. Okay, so we are talking that they're kind of both gods.
Yeah.
Not just shy of being like a god.
Yep.
And it's not why, because like I was trying to figure out, like demons seem like they should win the